What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bringing it back to you with another Remnant from the Ashes video. Today we're going to be going over my awesome Necromancer build that I think you guys will really happen to enjoy. A lot of fun, super creative, super adaptive. So without further ado, let's get into this. Now, if you're looking into this build head on, we're going to open up into the character sheet as you can see here, and we're going to take a look starting with the armor set. Now, the armor set is going to be the ritual set. Reason being for this, because it has mod generation, which if you don't know what mod generation is, it happens to generate your abilities a lot quicker, which is going to be the bread and butter of this build, and I'll go into detail as opposed to why in just a moment. But as of right now, basically the way it works is that range and melee hits generate additional mod power. Mod power generation is slowly generated over time. If I have 3 pieces of this set, it goes from 15 to 30 to 50% with the max 3 pieces of the set. I have everything here that capped out at 20. From there, this is basically going to be this set right here. So it's 114 arm piece for the helmet at 20, 146 for the chest plate, and then 126 for the boots at maxed out at 20. Now we move over into the amulet portion. The amulet I'm using is Brutal Mark. Reason being for this is because it increases my damage by 20% to enemies that have less than 50% health. This also applies to my summons that I happen to go about doing, and any base value damage I happen to go about doing. So this makes it really nice for being able to soak up more extra damage when I happen to be in a firefight or in a boss fight, and I don't have to worry about changing stuff out to accommodate for that. So super adaptable, really nice. Soul Link. Soul Link is going to be your survivability accessory. So basically, summons will steal 5% of the damage dealt and return it to the wearer as health. Now, looking at that small base percentage, you probably think that it's not a lot. However, it does stack pretty significantly, and I'll show you it momentarily. From there, we're going to go into Gravity Stone. Gravity Stone is going to increase all damage by 20% when there are at least 2 enemies within 10 meters of the wearer. Since I have summons up all the time, there's going to be shit chasing me all the time, so I'll be able to capitalize on the bonus damage from the amulets by dropping everything below 50% health, because my summons will drop them low enough for me to go about killing them, or summons will be able to kill them at 50% HP, or I'll be able to kill them at 50% HP. From there, also the double damage bonus from the 20% increase from having 2 enemies within the proximity, and then I'm going to be regenerating health back for every 5% damage that my summons happen to be doing. So it's just really nice. Everything comes into play, folds and transition, really nice synergy there. Moving on into weapons. The weapons I have is a submachine gun, plus 20 stat. As you can see, these are stats across the board: 21 damage, 16 RPS, and 35 in the magazine for plus 20 stats. The mod I have is Seed Caller. Summons a Roots Hollow that deals 180 damage per hit and lasts 30 seconds. Basically summons this little guy on the ground, which will allow you to go about having this little minion run around for you and just start hitting things. I'll show you that momentarily. Then I have the beam rifle. I have the beam rifle with 60 damage, 4 RPS, and 50 magazine size, plus 20 as well. Basically, the weapon mod I have is Beacon. Summons a Wasteland Skull, which shoots projectiles that deal 144 damage per hit, lasts 60 seconds. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to these mods is that these mods all scale up depending on the level of your weapon. If your weapon is at level 1, this mod would be significantly lower, as opposed to a weapon that happens to be at level 20, which then from there it will scale up the damage, the survivability. Everything kind of gets boosted to the point of where you can utilize it more to mid to late game. So one thing to keep in mind, and that also corresponds into any mod you have set to any type of higher level tier weapon. With all that in mind, what's cool about Beacon is that with this build setup, I can have 3 of these skulls out, and I can have 2 Seed Callers out, which is sick, and I'm going to show you that momentarily. Lost Harpoon, why not, because it's fun. Increased damage on each successful hit by 10% for 15 seconds, can be stacked 5 times. A little bit farther of a range, lets me stay a little bit farther back. Position accordingly while just being able to deal pretty nice damage. So that's pretty much the whole build in a nutshell. I'm going to go over the traits real quick, some of the traits that I just recommend having right out of the bat. Any build you happen to be doing, don't care what it happens to be, you need Vigor at 20, Endurance at 20. That is a must. One of the main benefits of this set build, I'll scroll down a little bit here, is going to be, where is it? Give me 1 second. Invoker. Summon damage bonus by plus 20%. So all my summons do a plus 20% damage. Huge. And then I have my power generation. I get a plus 25% on my 50% armor regeneration I already have now. Currently my 3-stack armor set. Super, super nice. Let's see. Another one you want to go about grabbing. It's going to be really handy for you. It's going to be armor efficiency, fire rate. Kingslayer also helps. Healing effectiveness is a must as well because you'll be able to stack up higher in your healing percentage. Without this one, it won't really work with the rank, so you definitely want to have this at 20. Weak spot damage increase. Status effect proc chance. That will be able to bolster your beam rifle outputs. So a lot of these ones just amplifies your overall damage output, survivability, and just kind of ties the whole build into a nutshell. From there, it works out really, really well. Of course, I think we are at the point in time where everyone's trying to go about getting every single stat within the course of the game. But like I said before, the main ones you are going to need is Spirit. You're going to need Summon damage bonus off Invoker. You're going to need Turgi, healing effectiveness at 100%. And the rest, not super, super necessary. But vigor, endurance, stuff that will help you go about surviving. Okay. So, enough talk. We've done enough of that. I'm going to run out real quick. I am on the first planet you end up heading into, which is going to be the city. Basically, just to be able to demonstrate the build in all of its glory and limelight and everything. Just re-roll the world real quick so I can show you guys exactly what you're going to be expecting with a build like this. So, I'm going to go ahead and pop my 2 summons here. So, I'm going to get my 2 skulls out. I'm going to get my 2 seed walkers out. They're instantly going to tear into that guy, which is going to be fantastic. And then we're going to move up here. And as you can see here, too, one of the cool things about these summons is they just follow everyone in auto track. It's 180 per hit. Another one, he's going to miss, but that's okay. I'm going to get shot a little bit here. He's going to miss again. But there you go. And you can see, too, my health at the bottom. You can see I'm getting hit, and then my health is just automatically going back up. And you can see these summons last a really long time. So the skulls last pretty much until they're dead. And the seed walkers last about 30 seconds. So it's not too bad overall. They do last quite a bit of time. So what's cool about the seed walkers is I can have 2 seed walkers out and I can have 2 skulls. I can have 3 skulls out. Excuse me. When I do a 4th skull, it does reset it, and from there it just goes back, which kind of sucks. And when I try to summon a 3rd Seed Walker, they just get reset as well, which kind of sucks too. So it just deletes the other one. So I can't have any more than that. But overall, it is super, super nice. This build's also fantastic too when wanting to go and just loot stuff around, because you can let your ads pretty much kill everything while you run through the area and break everything that you see here. Another useful tip too when you're starting the game fresh, and if you don't have a lot of a lot of ammo, to spare, then from there you can roll into every wooden object that you see to be able to conserve ammo, and it also conserves time to be able to break stuff. You can melee it too, but sometimes the hitbox is a little weird and the animation's a little bit longer. If you roll into a group of boxes, you can actually break a lot of them quicker. So that is one thing to keep in mind. I'm going to play through this just a little bit longer to give you guys a better demonstration of how the build works into fruition, and I'm also going to potentially jump cut over to like a boss fight so I can show you guys how this pairs up against the boss. But what's also cool is too with this armor is that I will passively regen my oh shit. I will passively regen my mod power, which will allow me to regen my weapons and everything pretty quickly. So I'll just keep regenerating mod power, which will regen my mods, and I can keep my summons up continuously. So pretty much anytime I have my summons, I can just pop them. So this build is very, very heavily dependent on you just continuously using your mods to not only get the damage output you need, as well as the survivability output you need too. As you can see here too, they just float around and they'll attack anything in the area, and that's why I'm not really worrying about healing myself as of right now, or wasting a dragon heart or a consumable to go about doing so, because I really don't need to. The cool thing is about these is that I don't have to really worry about wasting consumables or wasting dragon hearts or anything. I can just literally let them do all the work and I get all the healing from it and all the benefit. And I just have to worry about running around and looting, and it's a great time all around. So like I can just run past these guys and not really worry about them per se. And then if they still continue to shoot me because I don't have a lot of summons up. But as you can see there, the summons I previously summoned about 15 seconds ago are still active, so they can still just follow me and I don't have to worry about it. I go about getting healed. And let's not forget too, it should be well noted that the beam rifle actually does quite a bit of damage. The beam rifle has the ability to not only apply the status of proc for radiation, which will reduce their armor efficiency, but it will also consistently do damage every tick. So it just stacks up really, really nice and very, very fast. So that is one thing to keep in mind when engaging an enemy, is that if they don't have any status effects, resistance against like radiation, then from there you're going to be just soaking them with damage. And then of course with your amulet and your ring proc on top of that too, if there's 2 more enemies in the area, you're getting a lot of bonus damage. And then if you have every single one of your summons out, you're going to get tons and tons of damage. Alright, so we're going to fly through this. Ironically enough, I don't think there's a boss in this area, which is going to really suck. I think it's just the guy I talked to at the end of this, but we're still going to take a quick look. I'm just going to run through this. I'm going to pop actually a stem too, so that way I can, adrenaline, excuse me, so that way I can actually just roll right through this. This is actually bugged. That's interesting. I can't open that. So as you can see, I'm just going to keep my summons up. One thing to note, so this build does have a few drawbacks. When I do proc my summon, I cannot move. I can't cancel the summon animation, which kind of sucks. So I will not be able to get out of that animation because you're animation locked. So that is one thing to keep in mind when doing this. So I can't like dodge roll or anything to animation cancel any form of summons you happen to do. So it's one thing to keep in mind when doing that. Just because if you're in the middle of a boss fight, he's about to hit you with one of his moves, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You have to make sure that you just keep moving, or else you're going to die.
I smell trouble.
Just gonna fly through this. I'll use my melee as well, so that way you get a general idea of how the melee weapon works here too. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, but it is a really good melee weapon. One of my personal favorites. As you can clearly see, it does a lot. Keep flying through here. I was actually kind of hoping when I reset this world that I would get a pretty simple dungeon in the beginning, but it doesn't look like it happens to be that way. Okay, it's super unfortunate, but that's okay.
I ain't finished yet.
There we go. And as you can see too, my summons are stacked right now. You never want it to be where your summons are stacked. You never want to be in that situation where your summons are pretty much stacked up. You always want to proc them whenever you get the chance to do so, because at the end of the day, what will happen is that if your summons are stacked, they're not regenerating, and if they're not regenerating, that means that you're not maximizing your damage output or your survivability, because you don't have enough summons active at the moment. And even if you have full summons out with 3 skulls, 2 regular weavers. Then from there, what's gonna happen is that you will miss out on the opportunity to regen their health, and if you get into a firefight with a boss, or if you get jumped by an elite or anything along those lines, you'll end up running into the issue where you just won't have any summons to work with, because they'll all instantly just be dead. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Alright. So for...
Most folk ain't... Hey, I know that watch meat. Where'd you get it? Liar. Tell me where you... Well then.
There we go. Cool. So within boss fights, a lot of the encounters this setup will work perfectly fine. You won't really have to swap anything out or do anything differently than what you normally have running already, which makes it really, really fun. As you can see here, I can just kind of run around, loot some stuff up, worry about focusing down to ads, and my summons will kind of take care of the rest. I don't really have to worry about too much here. I can also continuously heal and not have to worry about it as well. If I want, I can go in and just do a little bit of DPS into the boss too. Never be afraid to hit your own ads. Unfortunately, you can hit your own ads, as well as if you're in a party, your teammates will also hit your ads too, so something to keep in mind. They do have a green icon, like reticle around them if you do happen to target them, but if you end up killing them or have to kill them or whatever the case may be, go right ahead. Your ads cannot shoot teammates and they cannot shoot you, so you don't have to worry about that as well. They also will continuously follow you too. The AI for them is pretty good, so I don't really have any issues or concerns in that regard. When it comes into dealing damage, of course, like I said, it is tied into the gun itself, so the higher the gun happens to be, the more damage they will deal, and that goes for any mod, as well as survivability based mods. The more survivability you obtain by the higher output of what the gun level is. The reason I'm using the SMG, which I really haven't used too much, is because it is really good close to medium range, and then the beam rifle is really good for far range. But as you can see there, I didn't really have to do too much when it came down to that. I had thought I'd turn this off. My apologies. But I didn't happen to do too much there when it came down to it, so it's a pretty nice setup. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it, guys. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or comments in regards to how I ended up obtaining this gear, how I ended up getting the mods, where I got them from, if you guys want to know or want build videos on how to go about actually building this build from the ground up, just let me know. I'll be happy to do YouTube videos on it. Or if you have any questions or concerns, just post in the comments. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. So I hope you guys happen to enjoy the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Definitely helps me out. But yeah, if you guys want to know more, feel free to post in the comments. I'll be happy to do more as this channel happens to progress. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys, for me. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Later.